So you've just finished the first draft of your novel. Yay, congratulations! It was a lot of work, and now you're happy to be done. So you've heard people say that you're going to have to begin the editing process now. So after all that hard work, you wonder how long will the editing process take? And is it really necessary? First, editing is a must. There's no denying it. I'm sorry, there's no getting out of it. You must edit. From school essays to news articles to novels, everyone edits their work. If they didn't, grammar Nazis would be gunning down everyone. So, before we decide how many times you should edit, let's go over a quick editing process. So you have a first draft of whatever it is. It's not perfect, and you technically just threw all your ideas on a page. So next comes the rewriting and redrafting. This is the longest editing pass. This is the part where you reshape and you reform your first draft. This is the part where you put in those scenes you forgot or drop the ones you don't need, you fix the relationship between characters, and you really work on bringing them to life. Next comes the revising. So, your first draft is now a redraft, and so far you're pretty happy with it. However, there is always room for improvement. You may have some grammatical errors, or maybe there's this one character that's being really fussy. So now you have to go through your manuscript, the entire manuscript, several times and repeatedly tweak what's wrong, what needs work, and things like that. So while you're making your revisions, it's wise to hand one of them over to trusted beta readers. These are people who will read your story and give you helpful feedback. Now, you do know the story better than them, but they may be able to catch something you missed. They see the story from different perspectives and have good insight from a reader's point of view rather than a writer's. So, for an example, when I was revising my story, there was a chapter that flowed too quickly because I left details out. As the writer, I already knew what the scene was supposed to look like and didn't take into consideration that my readers may not. So, my beta readers made me aware of that, and I was able to revise it, making it my favorite chapter of the entire novel. Okay, so now you've revised your manuscript and incorporated the advice from the beta readers. You got to a point where you can no longer make changes. This is the part where you have to hand over your manuscript to a professional. It's time to hire an editor. Depending on your preferences, you can hire different types of editors. Here are 3 popular types of novelists. First, they have the copy editors. They check for grammar, punctuation, spelling, etc. And that's their main focus. Another type, second type, is a development editor. This is the one I had. They check for consistency and development in plot and characters, and they make sure everything moves forward. They do copy editing, where they catch the grammar, mistakes, the punctuation, but that's not what they're strictly looking for. So they have a balance between a content editor, which is our third one, and a copy editor. A content editor pay the most attention to the plot rather than grammar and the format of the book. They basically make sure the plot's at its best. So now you got your manuscript back from the editor, and what do? Is it time to send it off to publication? No, I'm sorry. You have to edit your editor's edits. 90% of the time you should listen and accept your editor's changes or suggestions. They are the professionals after all, and that's why you paid them. However, there are times, especially if you hired a developmental or content editor, that you should go through and check that their suggestions fit with what you have in mind. So let me give you another example. My development editor had great insight and really understood my book. However, he only knows a third of the story. He edited the first in a trilogy. So I went through and I found that he changed some things that he felt like didn't make sense in that story, which is fine. It's what he wanted to do, and it was great for me to see it from another angle. However, those particular aspects were connecting to a story coming forward, coming in the future. They were meant to be foreshadows. Even though I didn't accept his changes, I did go back and make sure that the reader understood that the scene will be further explained in time. So now you've edited your editor's edit, and the book is at its complete best. You've proofread it, or you paid someone to proofread it, because you can do that, and you made sure there are no typos or grammatical errors. It's complete. Yay, you did it! Or so you think. I'm sorry. If it isn't done already, you have to edit your manuscript's format. So this is going to vary depending on what you're planning to do with it. If you're planning to self-publish, you have to make sure that the paper size, margins, fonts, and everything are correct for your selected company. If you are posting it on a blog, you have to make sure that it is formatted correctly to your blogging platform. In the end, you have to make sure that the manuscript looks its best as well as the story that it holds. In conclusion, how many times should I edit? A lot. Just kidding. I will give you the amount of times I edited my 500-page manuscript, including the rough draft. I had my rough draft, my redraft, revision 1, revision 2, revision 3, revision 4, revision 5. My editor edited it 3 times. I edited my editor's edits twice. I formatted it 4 separate times after that. So, in conclusion, my manuscript was edited 16 times. I am not even over-exaggerating. My 500-page novel was truly edited 16 times. This was a crazy time for me. It took me 1 year to complete the rough draft, another year to complete 2 revisions, and then I focused on all for the rest of the past year. Now, don't freak out. Everyone is different. I started my novel when I was 15 and I had no idea what I was doing. I screwed up my formatting so bad. That's the main reason I edited it so many times. Yours may take a lot less edits. If you edit your manuscript once per step of the editing process, you should have edited it at least 6 times, including the rough draft. That's not terrible. Remember, it's up to you how you want your final product to look. If you want it to look its best, don't be afraid to take your time. If you don't really care what it looks like, well then you didn't really need to watch this video in the first place. So, thank you guys for watching this video. I know it was a longer one, but this was definitely an important topic to cover. I know many young writers have questions about this crazy editing process that we have to go through. So, if you liked the video, please feel free to comment, like, subscribe, and also to check out my website and see the other work that I do. Thanks so much. See you next time.